No, I said I live in Collierville. I would reiterate, and not for the first time, when posed with the question, am I a resident of Memphis? My head would shake back and forth rhythmically as if in some ritual to ward off the possibility that I would ever have to live in that terrifying city. Because to my 9-year-old mind, Memphis was the older, more rambunctious sister to Collierville. She smoked, and she drank, and she flirted with the gangs, and partied and danced to smooth jazz all night long because she never slept. She donned leather and wild, loose, uneven curls and red lipstick so deep and lush it was unparalleled to any I had ever seen on a MAC palette. Proven by the one side of her collar popped upward and the other laid flat to showcase the fresh hickeys given to her by the thousands of lovers that flocked her way nightly, she was rebellious, rambunctious, hormonal teenager incarnate, and I was terrified. Now, Collierville was more stagnant and less interesting in comparison to his sister, and yes, he was dubbed the city where you sleep because he went to bed at the appropriate time each night. But it was under his watchful gaze that I was raised properly. And with my justified sense of moral value, I put on both straps to my JanSport backpack to equally distribute the weight of my 60-pound honors textbooks on my spine. And I took the long route in my school's hallways to follow the path created for me for success, so that I could become the Collierville I thought I was meant to be. But then I got older. And one day when I walked into my room, I slung my backpack full of 7 hours of calculus homework in the corner of my room, and I fell as an exhausted heap in the center of my bed, wondering if I could even keep my eyes open for a second longer, and I reminded myself to buy some concealer to hide the increasingly obvious bags underneath my eyes. And I was lonely. And the sense of loneliness continued to increase and increase as I got older, until one day, despite having traveled the same path in my hallways since kindergarten, I found myself cutting corners. And although I knew the exact number of steps I needed to take in order to reach success, my gaze started to drift towards Memphis. And then one day, when I was cleaning my room, I found at the bottom of my closet a red cap of individualism I didn't know I had. And I donned it as if I was Holden Caulfield, and I felt proud. And it was because of this sense of pride that I ran head-on to the center of my fear, created when I was 6, sitting on the couch watching for what had to be the 12th time that week a shooting on the TV. And despite this, Memphis welcomed me with open arms. And it was in this loving embrace of a small duplex near Overton Park that I, much like the greats before me, Siddhartha Gautama, Albert Einstein, Christopher Columbus, discovered something that I did not intend to find, and that was this. Memphis was not a rebellious teenager. She was simply misunderstood. And underneath this violent exterior painted for her was life and art and diversity, a place where you could think freely and establish your own experience, a place where I could chisel my own life path in the back alleys of her heart, much like her lovers chiseled statues in her honor. She was a harbor for all that dared to be different, much like the pandas that were only mothered by her. In my mind, she was the great Egyptian warrior wielding the golden key of liberation, in my ears in ecstasy at the sound of the clicking of the shackles I had placed on myself since birth. And it was because of this sweet taste of freedom that I decided, no matter where I live when I'm older, whether it's here or somewhere else in America or someplace among the stars I did not know I could reach, when posed with the question, am I a resident of Memphis, I will still say no, because I am Memphis.